Welcome to Mind Your Business. I am Ahmed Duncan, founder of the Fabulous Woman Network. I love to support the growth of individuals and organizations through coaching, training, events, mentoring, and anything. So, you and I can create wealth and impact people as fabulous children of God. Mind Your Business is my weekly podcast where we get to talk about business and share stories and lessons to help us all grow in what it is that we are doing. Today, we continue the conversation about being a sidepreneur. And last week, I interviewed two fabulous women, and today I have two more. The first guest is Lawson. She's a communications professional with 13 years experience in the field, specializing in CSR, crisis communication, branding, and social and media relations. She is the immediate past head of communications, marketing, and branding of Advanced Ghana Savings and Loans. She entered into sidepreneurship in 2019 with the aim of making profit from activities and games that she loved. She has even helped a number of friends set up their own side businesses as well. This woman is like, she means business. And then the second guest is Ofosua. She's the CEO of Enosua's Heart. This woman is actually an engineer by profession, but she's done so many other things in full-time employment, including sales and marketing and so many other things. And she's an artist. She makes, stuff. She designs stuff for people. She's designed some marks and stuff for me. She sells them and she's doing amazing as well. So today we get to listen to these two ladies and share in their experiences about what it is that they're doing and how it is that they've been running their businesses. Sit tight and enjoy this episode of Mind Your Business. So, ladies, I am so excited to be having part 2 of this conversation on sidepreneurship. Now, in last week's episode, I let the guests explain what it means, what this big word, that's now I have to drink a cup of tea before I can mention what it means. So today, I will also pose it to you. And Mary, because you are the communication specialist, please start by telling us what does it mean to be a sidepreneur. Then after that, I'll ask both of you to introduce yourselves.
Okay, to be a sidepreneur is to be in full-time employment and then have something to be doing on the side outside your full-time employment. Okay. Yeah. So that's sidepreneur.
Mary has passed, so let me clap for her. Okay, now please tell us a bit. I mean, I've already read your bio and it's impressive and all. Tell us a bit more about yourself as an employee and as a sidepreneur, Mary.
Okay, so I have been in communications and public relations for the past 13 years. Basically, that's what I've been doing all through my life. I have worked in a number of industries, in the finance industry, in the agri industry, and then the housing sector as well. I've done a bit of media monitoring too, yes. And then for my side job, I actually started with selling of perfumes. And then I moved away from there to clothes. And have introduced something that I realized was my passion from childhood. That is puzzles. And that is what I'm really doing now.
Wow. And even the way your face looks as you talk about it, it's really like you're the puzzle woman.
I'm the puzzle woman.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Ofosua, tell us you as well.
Okay, so I'm Ofosua. I'm currently a full-time employee as a strategy manager. My career has been interesting. I started out in national service in an academic setting and then moved on to sales. And then, should I say, moving around the business in FMCGs and then having a couple of FMCG stints. So I'm now in insurance. as a full-time employee. And even before all that, I started out studying as an electrical engineer. So it's been interesting having a career that has made me do things from marketing to supply chain to sales. And then also as a person having what people tend to describe many talents. I don't know where to put them. So that's how my Sidepreneur business started. I think it really started with me designing cakes. I just didn't like receiving cakes that I could not love. Buy me a cake, I should love the cake because I love cake. And then from there, I realized I could do other things like design clothes, sketch as well. I used to sketch every day. So now with my Sidepreneur business and the Enosua's heart, I'm trying to focus on one talent at a time. So I'm looking at doing customized gifts. It's a very niche market. It's not just you go into a store and pick a gift off the shelf. I listen to you and try and create something that you really love or the person would really love. So there are a lot of, it's almost like a consultation before you get your gifts. Yes, so that's it about me, Ofosua, the career woman and the business owner, aka Sidepreneur.
Wow, thank you. And let me just say on record here that we are actually having this conversation about Sidepreneurship because you proposed it after the episode I did on Start Your Own Business Week. So thank you very much for making this happen. Now, let's share about first the good part of being a sidepreneur. What are some of the advantages you ladies are enjoying because you have multiple streams of income? And when I say multiple streams of income, just in case this phrase is new to anyone listening, so you are earning income as a full-time employee and your businesses are also bringing you income. That is what I mean. So Mary, you first. What are the advantages?
Advantages. The very first thing you've already spoken about is the extra money.
You know?
Because it's the extra money. And then the affordability of you being able to do things that naturally your salary wouldn't have allowed you to do. Being able to help family members, friends, and people in the society with that extra cash that you are making. And then for my part, with what I do, I am able to make an impact in the lives of younger people, especially students, because we realize that in our side of the world, people do not really see what puzzles actually does for their cognitive. So I get to interact with schools and students and then share some knowledge with them. And I realize that over time, it makes children brilliant. So that is one of the things that I realized I'm enjoying from my sidepreneurship.
I think that the best part of what you said was the enjoy, and the way you stress the J, enjoying. You are enjoying. So yes, there's the extra cash, there's the impact, and there's the personal fulfillment. Like nothing, no amount of money can pay for that. That's enjoyment, So thank you. Thank you. And Ofosua, what about you?
For me, the first thing is the cash from being a full-time employee. And the great thing about it is that you actually have capital for your business every month. If you're like me, where you have a budget that you take out money every month to feed into your business. For me, that's the first one. The next one, obviously, is the networks. The people around me tend to end up being my clients. So I don't have to go into the market to search for them. I can start experimenting with the people around me, with the services I offer. Another one I will agree with Mary hands down is the enjoyment. It's the sheer fact that you have chosen what to do and you are doing it and you are loving it. And as I said before, I feel I have too many talents for my time of day. So going to work and only using a few, like a small number, can be frustrating for me when I'm really expressive in what I do, whether it be talking or drawing or whatever. So being able to use all that elsewhere and also bring in some money. Yes, that's the key advantages that I experience.
Fantastic response. And when you talked about the full-time cash, I'm like, oh my God, that is so true. So I remember one time I was in a car and let me tell you the background to this. when I quit my job, and I was now managing my own small money, small. There were times I parked my car and I wouldn't take it. I would either find a cheaper way or something, you know. And then we're going for this funeral, and I was in the person driving has a full-time job, and you can see life is really comfortable for her, at least from what I was seeing. And I was looking at her and saying, maybe full-time too is not bad though. At least look at her. She's and me, I'm perching in her car because the car that I was using at that time, you do one vroom, 2 gallons gone, you know. And so I was just saying that this whole getting money at the end of the month thing is not something to underestimate. And that's security. You know that no matter how little it is coming. And that helps. And I like that. Yeah. You can also count on that money. You are investing it into your business because it's in the beginning stages of your business, right? So thank you both ladies for sharing your truth. Yeah, I like truth though. Sometimes truth is harsh, but that is the truth. Okay.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Now let's talk about balancing. You're both women. I'm sure you are daughters. You are, all sorts of different roles that you play. We won't even talk about church and other places and all these other things you do. And yet, at the same time, you are managing your full-time plus the businesses. How are you able to balance all these different aspects of what you're doing?
So balancing, that is one great word, being a sidepreneur. It's not very easy. From afar, we make it seem like it is so easy, but I realized it is not. I realized it is not at all. So what I do is, if I have to go to work, by 6 o'clock, I am out of the house. By 6:30, 6:35, I'm already in the office. When I get to the office, everything is strictly official work. And then I close at 5, but then because of the position, you would have to stay in meetings till around 6:30 or 7. You get to the house around 8. You put in some house chores, and then you'd have to spend 2 to 3 hours working on your side job to make sure that if it's marketing you're doing, you're putting stuff together to push online. You're dealing with your contacts to make them to get them ready to come and pick items they have to pick from you. However, one thing I do is in between my official hours, there are certain breaks I'm able to take. The coffee break, the lunch break. I use those times also to push my sales and other stuff, to have personal meetings for my sidepreneur. So let's say I have a 1 hour break. In the night, I will schedule with some people that I would want to have some meetings with. So within that 1 hour break, I would call them, I would talk to them about the product, I would introduce them to the new products that I have, or talk to them about how we have to market these products, where we have to go and everything. So that is how I try to balance it. But to be honest with you, it is not very easy. You get to lose a lot of sleep. And if you do not dedicate yourself, if you do not dedicate some time to it, you'd realize that by the time you even come back from the office, you are very tired and you will keep on postponing things. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I have put a schedule in place that, okay, between 9 and 11, this is what I'm doing. I'm having conversations with people. I'm trying to put things online. I'm trying to do designs just to make sure that my sidepreneurship is always getting the recognition that it deserves out there. So that is how I try to balance.
So you are planning and you are sticking with it. Then it takes, I am thinking, it takes a lot of focus, to be able to stick.
It does. So the little time you get, it means you have to strategize in such a way that the little time you get, you have to push some to your sidepreneurship. Because one thing people do not tell us when we want to venture into side jobs is the same time you are spending on your full-time job is what you need to invest in your sidepreneurship. But nobody tells us that. They would only tell you, oh, it's good to sell. It's good to have multiple streams of income. But they don't actually tell you that the hard work you would have to put into to make income from the sidepreneurship.
Charlie, reminds me of some time I did 3 jobs at a go. It wasn't a business. It was all job. and I couldn't even sleep. And the sad thing was, I was making all the money, but when there was sales, I couldn't even go and shop because I was too tired to step out and go to the mall.
That's true.
Oh my God. God help us. Thank God that season is over. Ofosua, tell us how you balancing, my lady.
They use the word balance. And first of all, I have accepted that balance will not always balance. You have to keep balancing. And I think what Mary said has been helpful for me, listening to people's stories. Almost everybody who is full-time, when you said they start, it's not easy, but and for me it was very encouraging because when I also hit that it's not easy, my butt still got me going. So I think for me, the first thing that has helped me over the years is to look at the different aspects of my life that are important to me and prioritize. Like Mary said, when she gets to work, it's work. For me, my schedule is a little different. When I leave the house early because of where I live, I tend to get to work early. So if work starts at 8:30, unless I have something I need to catch up on, I go to a different side of the business that is in my desk. And then from that time till the clock's 8 or 8:30, I'm working on my side business. And then lunchtime too is very important. So lunchtime, you find me sketching someone's order, or I don't know, posting something on Facebook. So lunchtime too is packed. I usually can't work when the car is moving. I get car sick. So usually when I'm going home, that's my time for my calls. So I start calling, booking meetings and stuff like that. So really about your free time. And losing sleep is real. It's so real. And unfortunately for me, I need sleep as a human being. If I don't sleep well consistently, it tends to take a toll on me. So I also have to balance my time after work. I'm a new mother. So sometimes you find me breastfeeding and sketching and doing something as well. So knowing what's important in all this becomes helpful because then I know that work is between this time and that time that the contract I've signed. If there's extra time needed, I give it because I'm paid. It's my responsibility and it's honorable to God to do the work you are paid for. And then also knowing where does my family fit in this? When do I put my Sidepreneur down because my daughter is crying? And when do I ask my husband or anyone in my house to help? Last one is get help. Honestly, get any help you can. For me, I have the passion and the drive, but I lose steam very quickly. So I got help from you, Amma, because I know that if I don't come to you, the whole thing will just go down the way and we'll pick something new and shiny to fill the life instead of build the business. I also have accountability partners. I feel I can't have too many. So I have different accountability partners. And then I also try and get maybe interns and maybe looking to employ someone full-time. So yes, I'm trying to get all the help I can so that I can dedicate my time to what I'm good at and what I love so that the business itself can keep going. Also communicate. For me, it's very helpful when I move to my new job to communicate to my boss that I have a side business. It's not always easy. I've been in jobs where talking about it was difficult. So I remember what you said, find out what the job says. Luckily, when I was joining and signing my contract, it was easy. So I knew. So I keep telling people, I do this. There was a time we even had some extras to do. And I told my boss that after this crunch time, after this time, you won't see me at my desk because I have other things to do. Even though I may be in the office, I have other things to do. So if you can't communicate. Like when I ask my husband for help or other people around me to assist. So these are the things that have helped me with balance, honestly.
Wow, it's the to me. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. Continue.
No. I said these are the things that more. This is what comes to mind now. It's not easy, but it's nice.
I know the nice part. And yeah, getting the support cannot be underestimated. Like how you said it, anywhere you can get it, just get support. Just get support.
It's true.
Of course, sometimes you have to pay for the help. Sometimes you have to ask. One of my personal difficulties is, which is funny though, because I know I like asking for help, but when it matters, I'm like afraid, what would they think of me? But anyway, as I look at both of you, a phrase that comes to me is women of focus. I don't know. It just came to me. These women are so focused, like break time. Like you can't come into these women's life and mess and do concern things. They don't have time. They don't have time for that. Even in your car, you are doing your Charlie. Let me clap for you. Mary, I want to come to you because you are currently in a certain transition. Tell us about this transition and what is making you do this.
Okay, so currently, I think for the past 2 months, today is exactly 2 months. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That I left my main job. I didn't want to leave because the money was very good. But then the circumstances in which I found myself had to make me go. So for the past 2 months, I have been concentrating. My sidepreneurship has become my main job for now. However, it's short-lived because very soon I will be moving to a different sector. Yeah.
Congratulations on that too.
Thank you.
That is, thank you for sharing that. Sometimes this brings to mind, sometimes when we move from our side business, from our full-time to focus on side, sometimes we may end up having to go back for various reasons. Maybe for some people, in your case, you didn't really want to leave the full-time, but you had to. But sometimes some people leave and then maybe things are not going so well as they thought. The money is not flowing in. And so they need to go and bring some secured money every month to fill in. And some people think, oh, that's a shame. People say you failed. No, it's actually part of the process because you still need that income, especially if that income is good and it's a lot of dollars, There is no shame. There's no shame going back to accept a full-time job to keep pumping because you know where your heart is really.
To be honest with you, in the past 2 months, the only thing I miss is my fuel card.
Oh.
Yes, because fuel now is very expensive and it actually hurts me when I go to the fuel pump and I have to pay extra and it still doesn't get to the full tank you're expecting. So that's the only thing I miss now. Oh. Maybe in full time I'd miss something else, but now that's the only thing I'm missing.
It as well.
Mama, I want to say to just add a point to this. I have a friend who went into full-time entrepreneurship. Then I met her and said, she's going into get a job as well. And I remember personally listening to her feeling disappointed that you're doing obviously we make you look good online, successful thing, and you are going back into this trap of full-time work. And said, sometimes you have to do what you need to do. And I realized that there's no shame, even for me. Either posting consistently online, I try my best, but there's no shame in missing a week or missing a few days and coming back. I think that's the thing with being a sidepreneur or being an entrepreneur. Do what you need to do so you can come back and still serve the people. Because Charlie, if you leave things to emotions like shame and excitement alone, please, you are not in business. Those things will just change.
Absolutely. God is helping us. Let's talk about growth. How long did it take in your sidepreneur or in the side business to see growth? And growth here, you define growth as you want to. So Mary, we'll start with you.
So I just loved the question. I told you I started selling perfumes and deodorants. It was actually a family business. And I actually went to the family store and I told them, I want this. I took the big brands, of perfumes. And I sold it to friends. But one thing I realized, I was feeling shy to collect my money. So unless the person comes and says that, Mary, I owe you this amount, I owe you that amount, I couldn't ask people for my money. And trust me, I made a huge loss. So I had to end up using my salary to be paying for stuff I picked from the family shop. And that was when I realized, no, I'm not cut out for this. But later I realized what I am doing for myself that I am failing. I'm able to do it for my organization, and I close my mind and my eyes and I make money for them. So what is actually making me fail in my sidepreneurship? Then I realized that one was shyness. So I had to battle that thing out, and I had to put that friendship thing out of business. So even if you're a friend, you know that it is money that we spend on spending buying the item. So you need to at least pay me back so that I will be able to stay in business. So I took that friendship aspect out, and I moved away from the perfumes because I realized it was very expensive, and then people would pay in bits. And if you are not really, how do I term it? If you are not really faithful in saving the very little amounts that you get on a weekly or on a daily basis, you might end up messing up the money. So I moved away from the perfumes for some time. And then I got introduced to fabrics. And it was the fabrics that really made me see growth. With the fabrics, I didn't put a lot of money on. So let's say I buy a yard for like 20 Ghana cedis. I just put 2 cedis on top and I sell. So it means my profit there is the 2 cedis. So if I don't take my money back, it means I am making a loss. So the fabric actually taught me how to make money, how to take monies back from people who owe me, and how not to sell so much on credit to especially friends, because they end up not paying. So that is when I started seeing growth. When I actually went into fabrics, that is when I started seeing growth. Because even if you're a family member, when you buy, I'll tell you, if I'm not saying that take it, it means you have to pay me back. So I started seeing growth with the fabric business. But trust me, with the perfumes, I made a huge loss. But I would say that with the fabrics, when I started, within 3 months, I had made my money. Yes. So every money, and it was very impressive because I had an accountability partner who was my husband. He would ask me, Mary, how many years have you sold so far? How much is it supposed to be? So when you look at the Excel, how much profits are you supposed to be making? After you deduct the monies we put in buying the fabrics and the money we used in buying the poly bags and doing the dispatch, how much profits have we made? And this is somebody who is very strict. So every day he's asking you questions. So at the end of the day, you have to find answers for him. And you're not just finding answers for him. You're finding answers and sending him an Excel sheet at the end of every week. So you will be forced to make profits. So I think that is how I started making profits from my business, seeing a growth in my business. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I see 2 things here. First, your experience. You learned from the experience to see this growth. And
yes, I did.
Accountability. May I ask, is your husband a lecturer?
No, he's not. He's not. But very strict when it comes to some of these things, because I had come from the background where I had lost money in selling the perfumes, and then we weren't even married. But I told him I felt shy taking monies from people who owe me. So he had to stand in as an accountability partner to make sure that, okay, you said you have sold to A, you've sold to B. They said they were going to give you the money at a particular time. Have you called them? Have you taken the money? We invested this amount of money into the business. Have you made that money back? Or in how many weeks do you think we can make that money back? In how many weeks can we go back to buy more fabrics? So basically, that is what he did for me. And I'm very grateful, because if I didn't have such a partner, not necessarily my husband, but any other person to follow up once in a while to ask you, have you done this? Have you done that? How are you moving forward with the business? I think, knowing myself, I would have spent the time sleeping or reading books.
Or solving puzzles.
I tell you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Ofosua, what about you? Tell us about growth.
I like the way Mary started. So I would say I really probably started seeing growth this year, just this year. When I started out with cakes, I also just wanted to add just a little to it. I felt that my services weren't known. I think they still aren't that known, as in they are not commonplace, and people didn't know how to value it. But I also didn't know what value I was bringing to people. So I just wanted to do it. But at the end of the day, you add what's your 5 CDs, 50 CDs, and all the work that you need to do. By the time I'm done, I'm so frustrated. I want to stop. Or I'm blaming, the sad part, I'm even blaming my clients when it's actually my fault. I priced my thing and it didn't go well, and I'm blaming even though they've paid the money. So having accountability helped. And I'd like to say from Mary's input, accountability shouldn't just be someone you say, oh, help me. Someone you respect. If you don't have respect for the person, you can always tell them, oh, tomorrow, oh, this, oh, that. Someone you genuinely, and someone you can open up to as well. Not someone you respect so much that they are far away, you can't be honest with them. So having accountability partners like that, and you, and the group we are in, has been really helpful. So what turned the growth was maybe my pricing. Looking one day at this thing, said, this, I can't do this anymore. Like, this gotta stop.
I cannot able.
I can't. Like, I just can't. So looking at my pricing and charge, even now, I feel I don't charge my food, but it's much better. I don't run at a loss with deliveries, phone calls, airtime, data. I use all those things in getting your piece for you. So pricing, the accountability, and then communication as well. Because I realize that sometimes I give someone good work, but because they don't know how I work up front, they get frustrated and don't come back. So we are doing a elaborate design process. I don't tell you, you think you're coming to a store to pick something off the shelf. Your experience is just tiring. So in those, I was losing customers. But right now, I've learned to communicate. I've learned from my frustrations. So leave not only me happy, but my clients happy. And sometimes all you have to do is communicate. So for me, it was pricing, the accountability, and the communication. Obviously, the experimenting helped. You try, this one works, you keep it. This one doesn't work, you drop it. So yeah, that's when I started seeing growth.
Congratulations. So for you as well, you've been, and as you keep talking, this quote by Marie Folio, clarity comes from doing. You can sit and plan something in your head is beautiful, but it's actually when you start doing that you get the clarity and you learn from it and it becomes better. Some of these mistakes, like Mary, you talking about literally gifting your perfumes to your friends.
I told you.
To go through that experience.
Designer perfumes.
You have to, and why wasn't I your friend then? At least I'd have I'm out.
If I go to the family shop now, anytime I go there, they go like, Mary, make sure the only thing you're picking is something you're going to use for yourself, not something you're going to sell.
Exactly. Oh my God. And by the way, that was also a struggle for me, asking people to pay me my money. What helped for me was Rachel Rogers, We Should All Be Millionaires. There was a point that talked about it, and that hit home super well for me. I think I had a turnaround just from that experience. So yeah, I really feel you on that. Okay, good. We keep going. Now, I'm sure at a point you may have needed extra funding for your business. I'm curious to know what your experience has been in terms of accessing external funding. Ofosua, let's start with you.
So if you don't count my salary as external funding, my experience so far has not been that positive. The good thing about Ghana is once you become an entrepreneur and declare yourself as an entrepreneur, even if it's a sidepreneur entrepreneur, and you start getting associated with people who are actually entrepreneurs, you find there's a lot of funding in the system, like a lot. This German, what's not, this UK, this local thing, like people are willing to see growth in the African community where we make money for ourselves. So whether it's local funding or foreign funding, it's there. So that was exciting for me, but I realized that a lot of these things, the programs run during working hours. So you find out that they say, oh, come for this lesson or this tutorial thing, and it's at 2:00. How can you leave your job at 2:00 when you have a meeting at 1:30? Like how? If you are lucky, one of them that was in, you could watch the thing later on after working hours and then sign your attendance. But then there's also a lot of work. As Mary said, what people don't tell you is that you need the work you do full time should also go into your side business, and that includes funding. Getting funding is work, especially when you have a full-time job. You are building business plan, you are doing this, you are showing something. And if you haven't gotten your books together, it's very difficult. So for me personally, I am yet to be successful, but trying and failing. I think any sidepreneur, please don't be afraid to try and fail. Just keep trying and failing. You get to learn a lot. The first one, I realized I was struggling. The second one, I learned to communicate. Up front, I told the organizer that, look, I work full time. I'm committed to doing my best. So you see me chatting after working hours, I'll ask you for help. And up front, like, you're honest. So they know. And then if it gets too hard, for me, the struggle was not only the job, the new baby, everything. You have to learn when it's honest. When honestly, it's just too much for you. And then maybe call it quits for that moment. And when you come back with more lessons. So I'm still on that journey for external funding because there's so much I can do. Equipment, even hiring help, paying for them when it comes to funding. And then also some of the lessons you pick, some of the things they teach you are very helpful. So far I haven't been exactly successful, but I've picked a lot of lessons on the way. And I know that one day maybe I'll come back and say, hey, after this show, I got some money and this is what I did.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Ofosua. How about you, Mary?
Okay, so funding, like Ofosua said, if you look into the system, there would be a lot, but a lot they would not buy into your idea of what you want to do. For example, I want to sell puzzles. Puzzles is not a thing in Ghana. So nobody really wants to invest. And more so, it's not being produced here in Ghana. You don't have the machines to produce them here in Ghana. So at a point, it becomes a bit difficult to get funding, though I'm still looking into it. However, apart from my salary so one thing I would like to say is that I have actually wanted to go into puzzles right from the age of 10. I really wanted to do it. So I have been saving bits and pieces of my money over time to be able to do it. And I think in 2015, my husband actually bought into the idea and he invested 5,000. Instead of using the money to go into puzzles, I realized that no, that money wasn't enough to buy, to ship, to clear, and all those things. So I actually bought a camera. And I used that camera and the printer to take pictures, print, and take my money. And I saved more. And finally, when I was ready to go into full-time sidepreneurship, I was able to access a loan from my institution because it was a savings and loans institution. So I was able to access a staff loan. And I put all these monies together and I put it into the system. So this is how I access funding. But as it stands now, if I need cash, it's between myself, my husband, and a few friends that I can go to and tell them that I really need to ship this thing. And I think that when it comes in within 2 months to 3 months, it would make our money, I'll be able to pay you back. So those are the few people I'm able to get to assist me because they have seen what you can do. And then they have bought into the idea that, yes, these things are moving. But initially, it wasn't easy to convince somebody that this is what I want to go into. I need your assistance. No, nobody wants to really put money out there like that.
Wow, thank you for sharing. And thank God for family and friends. You know, on the one hand, they may take our perfumes and not, but we have a group of them. We have a group of them that will support and they will see our hustle and say, what you're doing. And I like what you said. You know, it takes a while. sometimes we think that, oh, you come and tell the person the idea, no, they should start giving you money. But
No,
you have to
it doesn't work
that
that
you
way.
are really, exactly. So you put your skin in the game, let the whole world see that this girl really wants to do this. She's serious. Even when she fell, she wrote it up 100 times. Then people are more willing to, because actually it's the best thing to start receiving money when you are really experienced in what you're doing. Because in the beginning, the money can come. You took a risk and it actually worked. You know, you could have taken that risk with the camera and it wouldn't have worked too.
I know.
Yeah, it was a risk, and thank God it did.
The camera business, I would even like to talk about it. So you take pictures and you tell the person, should I send it to you on your phone for free? The person will go like, oh no, Mary, print 2 copies for me. We're a group of friends, so print 1 each for everybody in the photograph. You end up printing with your money, you come back and just one person takes the photograph.
Oh my God.
And you have invested your money, gone to print these photographs. You know, if it's the instant thing, it's just your small printer there. But then sometimes because of the way they request it, you don't use your instant printer. You have to go to town, go and print it at the photo lab and bring it. And these people do not end up paying, and they expect you to give it to them for free because you're a friend.
Oh my dear. Anyway, ladies, you've shared a lot of pieces of nuggets, and I hope that anyone listening is picking. I am revisiting my own stories and promises to pay, and that's never happened, and then. But you know what? I want to ask this last question about conflict. So you being in full-time employment, working for someone, the person is paying you for at least 8 hours a day, and then you are also trying to do the best you can to dedicate time to your business. Are there times when you are conflicted? Both businesses, they are all businesses, need your attention. And in such instances, how do you manage it? So, Ofosua, let's start from you on this one.
I think conflict is part of life. I like to see it as an opportunity to actually test if you really want what you really want. So when it comes, it gives me, anytime I have any struggle, I feel like I'll come out at the other end even better, not down, because then I would really know, oh, I said I wanted A, B, C. What I really want is B. It doesn't mean I don't want anything anymore, but it's B. So conflicts come. And I'd like to pick from what Mary said. Sometimes it would take a while for even you to see how dedicated you are to it. And then for others to see. Sometimes I had issues with family. They're like, what are you doing? Or somebody would make a joke about your serious business. They'll make a joke that breaks your heart. There's somebody made a comment. I remember crying, like just sitting there and crying. That how can you make such a joke? But funny enough, after a while, that person actually bought me my first device, which was an iPad, to do my designs and all. So the conflict will come. So you just have to, I think the word is honesty. When it comes to being anything that has other things, like being a sidepreneur, you have a full-time employership, and then you have to also have a family you take care of or people you interact with. When it happens, for me, it's just being very, very honest with myself. One thing too that has been a conflict, and you'll be surprised, is the money I receive, my salary. Because I know that every month, this amount of money is going to my business. I can sleep, I won't sell, I won't do anything. The money will come.
I know.
I must tell any sidepreneur, be careful, be warned, be very, very warned. It's good because for me, a lot of things I have to buy samples and test what works, what I can do. I may have a big dream, but I don't have enough suppliers to give me the gift item I want. So if every month I'm getting money, every month I can be pumping it into samples and not selling anything. So sometimes the advantages you enjoy end up being the thing that actually works against your business. But I think it's just sitting down and being like, Madam, stop playing. Just tell yourself, Madam, stop playing. And then rely on your accountability partners and just make the people who have invested the time, the effort to follow you. And don't underestimate those who've been giving you fans on Facebook or Instagram and not buying. They are there. One day they'll call you. Don't disappoint them too, and don't disappoint yourself. So there's a lot of things that just war against your soul when it comes to this. The different, just family pressures, just work pressures, and even the benefits of being a sidepreneur, like your network. Oh, I have people I can sell to, so you don't go and look for new clients. I have a salary coming in. Those advantages can actually work against you. So those are some of the conflicts. And for me, being honest with myself each and every time and realizing that I can come out stronger, not rejecting what I love, but loving it more by understanding what the issues were and working through it have been very helpful almost every time, whatever the conflict is.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, lady. Mary, Myla.
Okay, so conflict. So I would like to say that in my office or in my career path, I am known as the lady who resolves conflicts, crisis management, conflict resolution. So I do that a lot. But sometimes when the conflict has to do with yourself, has everything to do with what you are into, it's a bit difficult. So what I tend to do, so for example, I have shipped items in. I'm expecting it to come over the weekend, and all of a sudden you receive a call that your items are in, you need to pick it up because the warehouse is full and we don't want it to be mixed up with other people's products. And this is whereby you have to be in meetings throughout the day. That's a conflict. It's a serious one. You don't want somebody to come and take your boxes away. And you can't also leave your meeting because that's where your main salary is coming from. And you are supposed to be committed to both. So what then do? You ask for help. So most of the time in resolving conflicts, I have to ask for help. Sometimes you need to send items to a particular client, but then you know that throughout the day you have to be in meetings. You have to be organizing programs. You can't have time for yourself. And you don't want to let that customer go too, because it's not just about not sending the item to the customer, but it's also about customer loyalty. You have to ask for help. So for me, for example, I try to put certain things in place that was helping me. I know that. So another thing I would like to say is for a greater part of this year, and then the whole of last year, I was working from home. I was working from home throughout. But that doesn't exempt me from working. You have to constantly be online. So I wake up by 6:30, I will be online. And I close at 6:30 in the evening. I don't leave. I am constantly online. If you see me get up from my table, it means I'm going to pick water. I'm going to pick a drink. So you can't excuse yourself that, okay, I'm in the house, so I can be doing other stuff. No, that wasn't what my job was about. You are needed constantly. So I put people in place who were helping me. I need to send something to a customer. I have a dispatch. That's another thing to talk about. I run a small dispatch.
I saw the look on your face and I knew it.
So I have a dispatch. In fact, 2 of them who will come pick up the items and then send. So I need to go to the port. There's somebody in place to do this thing for me. And although you have to pay them in bits, it helps. It takes away a lot of the pressure and the conflict that you would engage yourself in with your full-time employer. Because if you don't do that, you might end up finding out that this place your sidepreneurship is trying to pull you. Your employer, your full-time employer needs you too. And you will always be in the middle and you won't give out your best both ways. So for me, what I try to do to avoid conflicts most of the time is to put out certain things, certain measures in place, certain people in places whereby I just need to pick up a phone and send a text message. And then the person knows I have to go to so and so person to pick up this item. And another thing I try to do that has helped me with my business is I try to get retailers. So when the items comes, sometimes there are some of them I give it to them on credits. There are some people you have to pay outright because I realized that they weren't diligent in paying me back my money. So if somebody contacts me, Mary, I want so and so puzzle, I go like, oh, okay, you know what? I can give it to you, but I prefer this customer to send it to you. Quickly, I send a message to that person. I go like, okay, I beg you, this person needs a product. Can you, if you have one in stock, can you sell it to the person? And sometimes, the prices vary because I sell at the wholesaler prices. They sell at the retailer prices. So I will tell the person that, okay, because this person is my client, please sell it to them at this amount and I would reimburse it for you. So those are some of the small things I do to avoid conflicts. Yeah.
And I think the best part of what you said is the asking for help. And I like that you put in place strategies. Okay, let me get my retailer to handle it instead of I think that is so smart. So you can also focus because at that time, your full-time employment, which is bringing in good money too, that you pump in, also needs your attention. I think that is a very good strategy. Thank you. Both of you ladies have really dropped some nuggets, and I'm really praying that whoever is listening is picking, as I am also picking. Before I let you go, ladies, I've got a few questions. These are short answer ones. So I'm just going to, I say the beginning of the sentence and you complete it with a short phrase or sentence. So I'm going to start, when I give the question, Ofosua, you answer first, and then Myla will answer. So Mary is actually, she's Mary Lawson, and she's put on her screen Myla, and I love it. So I'm just saying that. Okay, so first question. If I could advise my younger self in one short sentence, I would say,
you can do it. So just do.
You can do it. Do it. Oh, at least he can do it. But then that song just came to me. Thank you. Mary?
I'll say start early.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I am fabulous because
I am wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. Nothing He gave me is a mistake.
Hallelujah. Where is the collection basket? Okay, Mary.
Okay. I am fabulous because I know I have a lot of God-given abilities, and I know I have worked in turning them into opportunities for me.
Thank you. The final one is one book that has greatly helped me in business is
E-Myth Revisited.
Why didn't I know that was coming?
It was coming. I mean, Mary talked about structures and systems. Even more so as a sidepreneur, I think that's one thing that the E-Myth Revisited speaks about. Aside other things that war against you as a business owner, having those structures in place really help. And E-Myth Revisited confirmed some of the things I was doing, like picking my suppliers. If you are giving me a headache, you are gone. Or you are going. I'm going to find someone who will not. Yes. And finding systems that actually work. For me, delivery services that I can track have helped than just putting my item in a black box and hoping it gets to my clients and making 1,001 calls. So E-Myth Revisited for the systems and how to make sure that those systems work for you.
Thank you. Mary?
Okay. So one book I read about that has really pushed me is about leadership, how great leaders lead. And then another book I also read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah. And it really taught me how to move from zero to the top and how to take your leadership from your office to the home to other businesses.
Thank you. How Great Leaders Lead? Is that by John Maxwell? I feel like it's on.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. I don't know. Have I read it? Now I'm forgetting. But thank you. Rich Dad Poor Dad Day. We need to do a celebration.
A whole show.
We need to
a whole series.
We need to do a conference. Oh my God, ladies, you ladies are amazing. Women of focus indeed. I have been just so inspired. Like, these women mean business. They don't have time, eh? They don't have time for bickering and complaining. They are doing business. They mean business. I'm so impressed. It's so nice to see Ghanaians making things happen. It's the feeling there, it's priceless. Oh my goodness. So ladies, where do we find you? Talk, then I'm sure there are people who are like, oh, I want to meet that lady. Oh, how do people find you? Ofosua first.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. And please don't worry, I am as remote can be. So you let's talk. Anywhere you are, we can have a very good discussion and get you what you want. So on Instagram at enosuasheart.com. So ENOSUASHEART. On Facebook, the same at enosuasheart.com. Not .com. So Facebook is at enosuasheart. Sorry, at enosuasheart. As with Instagram at enosuasheart. Thankfully, it will be written on the screen, so you see it. And then you can also send us an email at info@enosuasheart.com. That's why the .com is coming in. Mm-hmm. And then you can also reach us on phone call +233 02000 92755. WhatsApp, phone call, and let's chat and let's get you that gift that you will truly love.
Thank you. Myla?
Okay, so for me, you would find me online, Platinum Haven, both Instagram and Facebook. And forgive me if you don't see a lot of things posted. I am too lazy posting there, but I have repented. So from now onwards, there will be a constant thing posting there. But I'm very active with emails. It's also platinumhaven@gmail.com. And then very active on WhatsApp, 0246 649817. So 0246 649817. Just drop a WhatsApp and quickly I would respond.
Okay. Thank you so much, ladies. Amazing women of focus. God is blessing all that you're doing and your impact.
Amen.
Multiply.
Amen. Amen.
Nice.
Amen. Isn't it a blessing to share your stories, your truth, the real truth, and, the impact from this conversation with these two ladies. It was just so beautiful. I kept remembering my own stories, some funny, some sad, some embarrassing. But I hope this has spoken to you as well. Please let me know in the chat, this whole conversation the past couple of weeks about sidepreneurship. How has this spoken to you? Has it convinced you, if you are not into it already, that maybe this is something worth considering? Are you also considering multiple streams of income? Or are you having your own experiences as a sidepreneur? I would love to hear from you. Share in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to our next episode of Mind Your Business. Don't forget to come back here same time next week, Tuesday, 12 p.m. GMT. It's Ta Toodles. Bye.